So welcome back to session 5. You've been learning mechanics, gearing up, and preparing like pros. Now it's time to focus on one of the most critical parts of raiding: communication, trust, and adaptability. Thank you for everyone that's coming out tonight. If this is your first time here, welcome. We have the first 4 sessions you can find at youtube.com/MaloEscape, or you can just scroll up here in Discord and look for Classroom. All of the previous episodes and training is available there for everybody to watch. So, let's talk about how to communicate effectively, how to support your team, and how to build the kind of raid environment where everyone can thrive. When I first started raiding, it was all pickup groups. And trust me, it was a gamble every time. Before voice comms like Discord, we did have things like Ventrilo, but those were very small communities. We had to also type everything out mid-fight, not exactly efficient. So being able to hear callouts, even if you don't want to speak, will dramatically improve your success rate. If you're looking for a guild, always ask about their Discord or what communication expectations they have. You know, some of the solo guilds that don't do group content, you know, they don't care, but others that do raiding very often do require Discord use. But if you're here with me today, you are on Discord and you're listening, so great. Even if you're introverted or protecting your privacy, listening to callouts will make a world of difference. I've had people in the past that didn't want to have their voices, that didn't want to come to Discord, and that is totally fine. I totally get it. But if you can still be in to listen for callouts, that is very important. So in raids, if you don't have time, you do not have time for long speeches during a battle. Okay, you need quick, clear callouts. For example, if you're a tank swapping boss aggro, do not say the following: "Help! I'm dying! Can somebody please taunt the boss or heal me?" Okay, that's way too long. You've just eaten up 10 seconds that somebody could have already helped you. Okay? Instead, you want... So, for example, when I'm on DPS and something's hitting me, I don't freak out. All I just say is, "Taunt TA." Alright? That means the tank knows, okay, I gotta taunt. And I gotta taunt the TA's target. And so, sometimes you'll also hear me if I'm playing if I'm playing a healer class, for example, and I see somebody is taking a lot of damage, and I determine that it's something that's hitting them, I will target the target and call for the tanks to taunt them. But I'll just be like, "Taunt Malo's target." So very short. So clean communication will keep the raid flowing and gives everyone a chance to adapt. Now, talking about adapt, I have a saying when it comes to raiding, especially prog teams: you want to adapt and overcome, because you cannot plan for every single second of a fight. You have to learn how to ebb and flow, adapt, and overcome whatever situation is thrown your way. So raids don't always go according to plan. Maybe the healer gets mobbed and taken out in the first 5 seconds. Well, what do? Maybe the tank gets one-shotted by a Heartseeker. What do? When something unexpected happens, calling it out simply and clearly is fine. We do not need to hear lengthy descriptions as to why you died. New players in raiding often feel very bad when they die in a raid, and so they'll lament for 30 seconds as to why they died, completely distracting the rest of us from getting the job done, getting them rezzed, and moving on. Okay, so we get it. Something happened. You don't have to explain why you died. We totally get it. Okay. So when something unexpected happens, we want to call that out simply and clearly. For example, healer kite, tank survive, res so and so. I apologize if you have a tune called so and so, but res so and so. So Focus on your responsibility and trust your team to focus on theirs and stay adaptable. You can only control what your class can do. You cannot control what another class is doing, right? So do the best that you can and trust the others on your team. During trash pools, that is the time to visit. Shoot the breeze, tell jokes, teach each other, and so forth. Pre and post, you know, you guys can crack jokes, I don't care. It doesn't matter. But when the boss fight starts, we need everyone focused and we need the comms to be clear. Because that is our prime time for learning. And if you're carrying a conversation about the weather or something that happened to you this week, it will distract everybody from what they're supposed to be doing and will cause a riot. And I was actually in a prog team the other night where that happened, and they were going crazy, and I wasn't even the raid leader, and so I had to call for clear comms. Which afterwards I messaged the raid leader. I'm like, I'm sorry if I stepped over the line, but you know, I saw that you were having a hard time, so I just opened my mouth. And he came back and was like, no, thanks for saying that, because, you know, he was trying to be diplomatic. As I mentioned to some of you earlier, I am very direct. I will call things as I see them. Do not take it personally. But, so when the boss fight starts, right, we gotta be focused, we gotta be on point, we gotta all do our best. And we gotta be able to hear the calls to know what we're supposed to be doing. As we're learning these fights, many of you don't know the fight yet, or you're just learning to raid and you're learning to manage your own skill rotations with being aware of what is situationally happening around you. That it's information overload when you're first learning how to do these things. So every role has its own communication responsibilities, and remember, less is more. So the way that I know raid leaders will differ. Some raid leaders prefer to call every single little thing. That is not me. I'm focused on what I need to be focused on. Plus, I feel that it is empowering for others to take responsibility for the class that they're on. So tanks will often call boss taunts, positioning, tank swaps, if any big frontals are going to occur. Those are all things that tanks are responsible for calling. Healers typically will call reses, or if there's a target that needs to be healed, as being targeted. So they're in Temple, Tier 1 and Tier 2. There are some instances where a single player gets targeted and they need it to be healed to full health, or they'll continue having a dot on them for the rest of the fight. So those are the kind of things that healers need to call. Support will call out crowd control targets. So, for example, when we have the admin to decide on boss to right, for Alan to mess them, they just some of those conversations can be had before the fight starts. Some of that planning can happen in advance, but oftentimes it's, you know, just you gotta adapt. So what do you do? You gotta communicate it. Debuffs, so mariners and captains, you guys will often call Othies out, for example. Or Berg, you'll say FM in 5 seconds, and that'll, you know, to people, or FM soon is the word that I like to use. I should really watch one day and go through one of my streams and see what are all like the chord phrases that I use and document them. But I like to use like 2-word phrases to communicate a concept, to speed things up. Damage, you'll typically focus on kill target and kill order, and you'll be saying, okay, TA will often be the one that will know the kill order and make sure that everybody is on target. But if you see somebody off target, please call it out. And I need you guys to get used to and comfortable knowing that we're not calling you out to put you on the spot or, you know, make you feel bad. We're just calling out to help you learn and get better. The more you understand your role, the more you'll know when it's critical for you to speak and when to let others handle it. So for example, If I'm playing a healer, I'm not gonna be calling tank swapping. I'll be calling reses. If I'm a tank, I'll be calling those sorts of things. You guys, understand kind of how that works? So, you've heard me say that raiding is like a dance, right? And if one person missteps, it can bring the whole team down. But blaming doesn't fix anything, okay? Healthy teams, what do? They focus on solutions, not on playing the blame game. They dust themselves off and go for another round. Reflection can happen after the raid on how you can adapt next time to situations. Now, learning the raids takes time and repetition, and a lot of repetition for some of us. So showing grace when mistakes happen builds trust. And guess what? Trust wins raids. Be the teammate who supports others, not the one who points fingers. If you mess up, then just say so. I promise there'll be no judgment because we all mess up when we're learning, and we're here to help each other learn from each other's mistakes and support each other. And Kat and Jaya and Daniel, you guys know the other night when I was learning how to do what was it, Tombs tier 2, and I kept dying due to puddles. Well, it's tier 2, I kept dying due to puddles, and you guys often hear me say, shoot, I did it again. Right? So don't be afraid to fess up to your mistakes. That's how we learn. That's how we all learn. Okay? Just have fun with it and keep going. Keep trying. You'll get better. I promise. So you will hear me say loud and clear in times when I mess up. And just, I'll laugh it off and I go again. And next pull, I'll try and do better. And I hope you guys will do the same. Do not beat yourself up. When I was progging T4 last season, I got into a very negative mindset where I would beat myself up after a raid if we failed for like an hour trying to figure out what the hell I did wrong. And I very quickly learned that that is just not the way I want to play this game because it's not good for my mental health. And so I fully encourage you guys to do not beat yourself up. This is a game and we're here to have fun and, you know, have fun. So the best way to get better at raiding is to, guess what? Is to raid. You can't watch somebody raid, you actually have to get in there and do it yourself. So what I like to do when I'm learning a new raid, I like to record my gameplay, and I use a free software like OBS, and I rewatch it a day or two later, especially if I'm progging. I go back and I rewatch that video with fresh eyes, and I look and I try to find out what I did right and what I can improve upon. I cannot do that type of learning in the middle of the heat of battle. So I like to do those afterwards. So every failure is going to teach you something. And every wipe is going to bring you one step closer to mastering the dance. And one key phrase that I want you guys to take away from today's talk is that all work works. Okay? Whether it's dying, whether it's passing, all of it works together to get you to be a better raider. And yes, even the messy parts. Alright. So, from now on... Alright, so that concludes today's, and I am so excited. I hope you guys are too. We are going to go Corbo Tier 2 today. Who's excited? Alright, so we will be doing Corbo Tier 2, Boss 1, and all I can say is, prepare to die. Because it's gonna be a doozy. We have folks that have never done Corbo Tier 2, and we've got folks that have done much higher stuff, so hopefully a bit of a balance to help us get over the hump. Alright. Jay, are you on? Why can I not spell your name? Meloje. Oh, you're on. No wonder. I know. Just look at how the groups are set up. We are going with the 3 heal strat today. So Cat and Lyric will be healing. And then I think Daniel, you've got a heal build as well, correct? Or you're working on it? Okay, we're good. Alright, so maybe we'll make Cypher. We're gonna try to healing it, and if we can't make it, we'll make Cypher swap to healing as well. So let me see. Gotta swap that. Finger's gonna come over here. Yeah, we don't have a mini today, so that's gonna be exciting. Who wants Daniel? Will you be TA then? Please? Thank you so much. What else? Okay, I think that's it. Let's go ahead and start her up.
After the confrontation in the Citadel of Winds, the ship bearing Asagoth, Belondor, and Nakasi, Reaper of the Waves, sails northwest into the shadow cast by the Makta Corbo. Pursuing the trio, you enter the depths of a long-hidden cavern, leading through dank, twisting passages ending at an iron-wrought gate. The smells of the sea, iron, and ash assail you as you press deeper beneath the land and closer to the remnants of the temple ruins.
Thank you. Thank you for the table. Thank you for the food. Alright, let's review this fight. So, let's start with kill order, because that's usually what I like to start with. Kill order, Daniel. We will do Burkhead. Then we'll do that. Then we'll do Ishakar. Then we'll do Farida. Then we'll do Azagath. Alright, now, bingo. You're on Sharada. I know you know the deal. Good job. I will be on Zag. Okay, so on tier 2, Burkhead does a new skill called Tales of Something. Okay. Thank you. When he does that Tales skill, he has to be interrupted. Okay. So, you will be saving your Heartseeker for when that goes off. Okay. Because out of the DPS, you have the shortest induction time. But Sonic and Daniel and Cypher, you guys will be on backup for that, okay? To make sure that that does not go off. If that does happen, if it does go off, what happens is that we won't be able to interrupt any of the other monsters, and they'll get all their massive skills off, and it'll just, you know, everything will tumble out of control. Okay? The other thing that needs to be aware of, you need to not, everybody needs to look at their skills. You cannot do any of your AoE stuns. Okay? No AoE stuns. Because that'll also screw everything up. Alright? So, no AoE stuns, and DPS interrupts Burkhead. I'll keep an eye on Zag. Now, Lysaurus, your main task is going to be, I want you to, when we run in there, Ishikara, the first thing that he's going to do is he's going to summon something. Alright? You need to interrupt him. Once that interruption is off, you will switch to TA target. At that point, you will do Oathies, do your buffs, and then you'll swap back to Ishikar. And then all I want you to do, it's going to be a really boring task, and I'm super sorry that you're going to have to do it, but this is the job of the Mariner on tier 2. You're babysitting Ishikar. And whenever he does his induction, you're going to interrupt him. Okay? What's that, Jay? Okay. Okay. If you're comfortable doing that, we can do that. Alright. I like that strategy. Lysaurus, you gotta buy Jay a round of drinks after this at the Prancing Pony. Cause he saved you from a really boring job. Alright. So Lysaurus, you'll be focused then on TA target and just going to town doing DPS. Too funny. So make sure that you have your just call Oathies whenever you throw it, okay? We do not have CTGs, so you're more than welcome to this fight. No, we have Yellow Cappy. So you only have to worry about your buffs and your Oathies, nothing else. And that's really it. Jay, are you gonna tank side by side with me? Okay, I will be sure to call Slam then. So we gotta move away from. I don't think you can interrupt it on tier 2. Yeah. That's what we're gonna try and do. That'll be like our first goal. We will just have to start teaming at alright. Also, everybody else everybody, and I mean absolutely everybody, is right behind her. And that way Zag doesn't go running off and it's not as much as running back. Okay? So that means hunters and LMs and range and healers, you gotta stay and get into melee range, okay? We will be ignoring whoever gets the eye. Healers, you'll just be responsible for healing that person. Let me just check real quick. Kat, do you have prime for this? Alright, so Yeah, so you'll have to coordinate that. So maybe Cat, you get the first and then the Source you get guided by the star. Remember that when you have the house you cultivate. So, Cat will call it. There is a skill that we call it Cow, and it does AoE damage. So we will want to satisfy the stars right before that goes off. Yes, just so we have that buffer. All right. I believe that that's the only. Oh, Daniel, have you TA'd this before? Okay, so what's gonna happen is Ishakar. I know Ishakar is a tier 2, so he's gonna if he gets. I trust Jay is gonna interrupt it, but in the event that he does get his infection up, alright. What Ishikar is gonna do is he's gonna summon the Oathbreaker. If the Oathbreaker that he summons is an archer, take that archer out ASAP. Because that archer does parts and he will one by one That's tier 2. Yeah, it's not a tier 2. Alright? Okay. I'll be right back. Give me 1 minute. Sonic, go. Nice one, Sonic. Everyone retreat. We go again. Really, there's no changes to strategy or mechanics here. I'm happy to answer any questions. We just need... We just... Yeah, I mean, like, you got runes for Burkhead. That's even an improvement from last week. I believe so. I didn't see any problems. Burkhead, Zag, Ishakar, Farida. Yeah. That's how I'm used to doing it. Yeah, because the characters you have Effeltwood, like Swinson, and to make it easier on my I'm just going to go into my inventory and grab a couple of buffs real quick. There's my toast a bit. They all look the same. I figured that's why I ended up just challenging. Sorry, what? My finesse is... I upped it a little bit. It's 5 at the moment. 5. Yeah. Good. I know a lot of people just think I got it up a little bit. Alright, let's go again. Ready, check to go. All green, here we go. 3, 2, 1. clear. Good job. Good luck on loot. You guys exceeded my expectations. Lovely on the clear communication. Good job, everyone. My TPS was 14. Alright, off to the next one. Alright, everybody hang back here. I'm gonna go pull on some coattails. Do we have? Yeah. I did not see a padding group. Tip I want to give you guys is, Daniel, do you happen to have some targets turned on? Okay, so you can go into options. Would be combat. If you search for target at the top, get a combat options, it's the last option. Show the vitals of your selection's target. Okay, so when somebody calls out, I have so-and-so targeted, right? You can click on their name, and then, so for example, Jake, can you click on somebody? So, I don't know, so then you can click on his target and it'll automatically swap to it. So it might be hidden under something. So I can tell you in a second what it's called. Yes. It's called selections target. So what I like to do is I like to drag that very close to where it's easy for me to get to, because that, you know, that's how we help each other out. And then the other thing is, if you're saying like, hey, I've got so and so targeted, be sure to say who hey is. So like, Maloa, I've got, you know, bingo targeted, you know, that way the TA will know who to target. As we're getting used to everybody's voices, if that makes sense. It just speeds things up. All right. Perfect. That'll make it easy for you. Okay, I'm gonna pull the padding group next. And I've got the crocodile tamer targeted for you. All right, here we go. Pulling now. Retreat. You guys can feel free to run through this door to the right. Yeah, I don't know what happened. You guys gotta be patient with me. This is my first time tanking tier 2. Uh-huh. It might have been a line of sight issue. Yeah. I don't know either. Other group is on the other side now. Whee! Yeah, there's 2 padding groups. I'm gonna try and just pull this first group, but I can't guarantee that the second group won't come either. Alright, let's grab the second group then. Alright, here they come! Ready or not? do not come out yet. Do still have some. Until we do this after the next padding group goes down. They're just out here doing their own dance. I can't remember. Does this tier have somebody by the docks as well? Or is it only by the gate? Alright, I've got the crab tamer. Yeah, that's fine. So the tamer, the crocodile tamer, crab tamer, they're all so that's why we take them out. Mostly green, here we go. 3, 2, 1. It is the halfway mark, so go ahead and take a 5-minute break. Fire, stretch your legs, do what you need to, and then we'll come back and we will continue on. Alright, this is gonna be a ready check to see if everybody is back. Alright, we've got only one healer back. Give them another 2 minutes. Is everyone having a good weekend? We had thunderstorms come through last night, and my one dog, she doesn't like them at all, so she kept me up half the night. But other than that, I've been having a splendid day. Nice. Alright, everybody's back. Alright. So, Daniel, same thing here. I'm gonna give you a chance to target the crocodile tamer first. Always have those three. Croc, crab, grim. Alright, pulling. And I will be pulling around the corner here. Try not to go into that room. There will be 2 rooms. We'll just deal with them. For now. Going in. 3, 2, 1. Alright, everybody around the corner in a second, and we'll make some fire. Alright. Let's start with kill order. Will be Telkenza, followed by Calmos, then Hackraft, I'll type it for you. Calmos. No, that's totally fine. Myron. Lashana, Salix, and then Ballandor. Okay, so since DPS you'll be on Telkenza first, please make sure that you interrupt her. Io, you will be on Hackraft. Make sure that you interrupt him. Thesaurus, you will be on Calmos. Make sure you interrupt him. Bingo, you can pick Myron or Lashana, whatever you like to interrupt. I'll get, yep, that'll be good. Jay, I'm gonna let you pull. I'm gonna run in, I'm gonna AoE taunt, I'm gonna be taking a crap ton of damage. Jay is gonna pull Ballandor away first. Then he's gonna pull away Salix, and he's gonna come stand in this corner, and we're gonna burn everything down. Then we will pull Salix over, and now this is where it changes. On tier 2, there is a very, very heavy DPS check on Salix specifically. Bingo, do you happen to know the trick to make him not heal back up? So there's a specific time that you need to hit it. I believe as soon as he's going to transition, when he starts moving to do it, that's when you need to hit it. So there's like a couple of seconds window there. So I'm gonna let you try and practice that, because it's useful for that. But so generally what happens with Salix is we will start beating on him. He's gonna take damage, but we're not gonna use any of our huge skills, okay? I don't want you using burn hots. I don't want you doing any of your massive no Oathies, no nothing when we're on Salix, okay? And then you'll see at about, he will then get a green symbol underneath his name, and he's gonna heal all the way back up. Then we gotta sit there and wait until that buff drops off. Now, when that buff drops off, we've got to open up everything. So, Lysaurus, I want to make, since we do not have a mini here, I want to make sure that we save Oathies for that stage, okay? Because we're gonna have one shot at this. We're gonna do Oathies, and then we're just all gonna lay into Salix. I'll break ranks, and we will do as much damage as we possibly can. If we do not burn through Salix, we have 2 more shots. After that, it's pretty much a wipe. Okay? So remember that when since Lashana will be right before Salix, for Lashana, we can ease up our DPS and not do max damage and start saving our skills, so that when we do go to Salix, we will be able to one and done him. Okay, then when Salix goes down, Ballandor, well, I don't know. We could try and do Salix first, but that's gonna be very hard on the healers. Let's do it the way that I'm used to do. No, I want you to stay DPS because of the DPS check. Yeah, this is a DPS race. This is not, yeah, so we'll save Salix for that stage. We should be able to burn through these others relatively quick. Then once Salix is done, we're all gonna run through this corner and hide from Ballandor, and, well, except the tanks. Jay's gonna come join me. And at that point, we're gonna have a massive, Bellandor is gonna do massive AoE damage, so we gotta make sure we're away from him. And then that's when we'll do fates and bubbles and all that stuff, but I don't want to use Dome at that point. So I want to save. Yeah, we're gonna save Dome for like the last 20% of Bellandor's health to make sure we get over the hump, healing hump. We only have the Bergen Cappy for cleanses, so during that phase, you guys will need to be on point. Bingo, I'm gonna let you cleanse first, and then Jay, you'll cleanse next, and then you guys will just alternate. But everybody should have pots, unless you're a guard like me that can cleanse 3 things at once. You want to have fear pots, is what you want to have available, so that you can pot out of them. And then we just kill Bellandor. Jay, at that point, I'll want you to take a couple of the ads, and I'll take a couple of the ads, just so that we're being nice to the healers, that not one of us are taking everything. Yeah, second phase. Yeah. Doesn't matter who you take. Yeah, I don't care who you take. We just gotta make sure that just one of us isn't taking everything. Alright, any questions? Clear as mud. Yeah. No AoE stun. And melee, be careful where you're standing relative to Salix, because he will put massive wound bleeds on you. So be careful with that. Alright, I say we give this a pull so everybody can... Okay. Should be fine. I would just say, yeah, second phase, no. And then, are you doing enrages, or, you'll do enrage on double enrage on Salix, right, Bingo? Yeah, I think Jay should be able to handle tier 2. I'd much rather... You can put disables on him initially, but when we actually go to burn him, if you can put double disables on him at that point, please. Sorry, not double disabled, double enrage on him when we go to actually burn him. Does that make sense? Okay, good. Want to make sure we're on the same page. Any other questions? Alright, can we ready check? Let's go see this fight. We're all green. Going in. 3, 2, 1.
I commend you for your tenacity.
Why do I always forget?
We will afford you a moment of rest. Compose yourselves. Gather your crew quickly. Once the gate is closed, we will teach you about discipline.
I always forget. I always get so ready to just go in and kill this thing. Okay, my talk is I'll be fine.
Very well. Let's begin.
got some things. We got rolled by interrupts not being interrupted. So for this next pull, if I assign you a target to interrupt, I want you to ignore everything else and just make sure you get those interrupts off, okay? Gary, can you remember which one of them does the power drain? Marin, okay. I will then target Marin to make sure she doesn't drown our power. Seals up. Okay. Okay. Give us a minute while we tool tip everything again. Alright, this is going to be a ready check to go. Thank you for Hope and Scrolls. We are all green. Oh, shit. This time there'll be a very straightforward line. Going in.
I commend you for your tenacity. Come forth. We will afford you a moment of respite to compose yourselves. Gather your crew quickly. Once the gate is closed, we will teach you about discipline. Very well. Let us begin. I commend you for your tenacity. Come forth. We will afford you a moment of respite to compose yourselves. Gather your crew quickly. Once the gate is closed, we will teach you about discipline. Very well.
for my assistance.
Here we go, 5 seconds.
No! What have you done? Osaka! This is not over!
Valiant effort. Good job, guys. Excellent progress tonight. We got past boss 1 and we almost got boss 2. Good job. I'm gonna call it here since we only have 10 minutes left and we'll need more than that to kill boss 2. I want to thank everyone for coming out tonight. And yeah, I had a lot of fun too. We'll be back next week doing this again. Daniel, what debuffs are you talking about? So yeah. So what you'll see is usually we bring a mini along, but we didn't have one tonight to do the cleanses on the DPS side. Because theirs is up every couple of seconds. Also, as an Arcana Hunter, you have to be careful with your cleanses if you've got target forwarding turned on, because if you hit the cleanse, it'll remove the buffs from whoever has aggro on the thing that you're busy killing. So you have to click on yourself and then do the cleanse, or it won't take effect on yourself. And yeah, so if you have that turned off, then you want to cleanse the ones that have like a solid stripe around them. And in here, it's going to be fear. So you want to bring fear pots and you want to bring you want to use your personal cleanse. But wait initially because the Berg, and usually we have a red cap and a mini in here for that reason. But our comp just didn't allow for that tonight. But yeah, so all they do is those spheres just deal massive damage. That's why they need to be potted and removed immediately. There's nothing really else to it. Yeah. No, any questions you guys have, just let me know. I'm sure. Yeah. Yeah. It is a lot all at once right there. But yeah, it just takes practice for yeah.